Radio Cayman.
The voice.
The heart. The soul of the Cayman Islands.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies. Call them at 949-6211. Optical Outlook, now at their new location in Anderson Square. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook. And Cayman Insurance Center, celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services.
And now, Radio Cayman presents The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. Here's your host, Anita Khan.
Good morning and welcome to the Business Buzz. In this segment, we put the focus on Rotary Central Cayman Islands as we hear all about their humanitarian efforts, not only here in the Cayman Islands, but internationally as well. Joining us this morning, we have 3 guests in the studio. We'll tell you about them in just a bit, but we just want to remind you that after the news break at 8, we'll have our second segment of the Business Buzz with the wonderful folks from Royal Medical and Wellness Center. But for right now, let's put the spotlight on Rotary Central Cayman Islands. Welcome. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Anita.
And you're all familiar voices, I'm sure.
Yes.
So here's what I'll do. We have a public image director in our midst this morning, so we'll have him introduce the rest of the guests and himself.
I'd like to thank our listening audience for giving us their time, which is precious, and I'd like to welcome them to this segment. Also, I'd like to thank Radio Cayman and Anita for hosting us. This morning, we have the pleasure of our president, Corleen Goodman Hoptroff. She is our lady president, or 6th lady president, 35th president of Rotary Central. And we also have the pleasure of one of our wise men, past president, Peter Schmid, who was our 16th president. Rotary started in 1986, so we've been able to do the math pretty well. We have the benefit of experience and talent and vibrancy right here, right now, as we talk a little about international service and Rotary Central's role in our community.
You forgot to introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Carl Brown. I'm part of the fabric of Rotary Central for a number of years.
And I'll take it over from here before Carl decides to co-host with me this morning. So Carl is the public image director for Rotary Central. Good morning again, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you guys in the studio.
Same here, thank you.
Now, how long have you been with Rotary, Carl?
I've been with Rotary from 1996. No, I think it's a little early. 1993.
So you're keeping math on everybody else except yourself. Okay.
As I get older, math gets a little foggier.
I think I'll have to agree with you on that one. Now, tell us about Rotary Central Cayman Islands, when it was established, the mission and primary aim of the organization. I mean, I know we talk about this all the time, but for those who have not heard or has no idea, let's enlighten them a little bit.
I'll say a little, and then I'll hand over to our 16th president, Peter. Okay. We started in 1986, October the 3rd, 1986. We were chartered the second Rotary Club in the Cayman Islands. We are one of 4 clubs. Now, Rotary operates with the process of, we've got clubs, and we do make-ups with each club. We will circulate. So if you fulfill your obligation with your current club, and you are going abroad, or you have missed club meetings, you would like to make up at another club. So it became necessary for a second Rotary Club to be established. We had Rotarians who were so dedicated that they would fly off to Miami on Cayman Airways and do a make-up Rotary meeting in Florida and come back home in the evening just because they wanted to keep their perfect attendance. David Foster had a perfect attendance up until his passing. And his commitment was that great. So part of the reason for Rotary Central's existence has been because they needed a second club to enable Rotarians to be fully rounded out.
And you sure that wasn't just an excuse to go Miami and shop?
Well, at the time, we had to shop for most of our items up in Florida, and it was a little more affordable to fly out.
Two for one.
2 for 1. 2 for 1, that's right.
Yes.
No. That was the voice of
Corleen Goodman.
Corleen
Hoptroff.
Goodman Hoptroff,
Yes.
current president.
Current president.
Good
A
morning,
female
everyone.
current president.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. We've got we normally say back to back, but we've got back to back female presidents leading the club. So last year we had IPP John A, and myself this year, and next year it's PE Jen, all of which I know you're very familiar with. Have been in the studio with you.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little about March is International Service Month. We're almost finished.
Yeah,
We're almost finished with March. So you must. Was it a busy month for
March
Rotary?
is not finished with us.
Okay.
It's been busy. I coming into this role, we normally say like the first 6 months you get all your projects done and you kind of like coast the rest of the way. But I found that we've not been coasting. There've been a lot of things going on, especially seeing that what's going on in Ukraine and Russia and stuff. So we're keeping an eye on that. As Director Carl mentioned, Rotary Central is part of a international, Rotary International. So we are, directed by them. They are also looking at the situation and trying to help where we can. So that's kind of been part of our focus for this month. And of course, we can't forget our own community service. So we've been very busy. We've had a couple in service projects this week, Saturday, and then we have something this afternoon as well.
Okay. What did you have on Saturday?
So on Saturday, I'll pass on to PP Peter, who can give you a lot more details on that. But we did take the residents of the Sunrise Adult Training Center to the beach, and we had an amazing time. I think they enjoyed themselves immensely. I'll pass on to PP Peter, who was instrumental in organizing the morning.
And just in case he's modest, which he is, I'll be back up to Peter.
Well, I'm glad you did not introduce me as a wise guy. But I've been I've been with Rotary a while, and as a matter of fact, my Rotary age is I think 105 now,
Ooh.
which is
Like
which
in dog
is
years?
your physical age and the amount of years you've been in Rotary. So. There is a list for that because there are certain things that evolve from that. But I wanted to also say add on to Corleen's comments, we mustn't forget that for probably the first half of the Rotary year, we were oftentimes on Zoom meetings as well. And the physical attendance wasn't what it, would normally be. And the involvement, many people were reluctant to come out for projects and things like that because it was an uncertain situation in terms of transmission of COVID and that kind of thing. So that influenced the year to a great extent. And many things might have gotten done sooner had we had a normal situation from the beginning. But back to the last Saturday, there has been an interval for some time that we have not been able to take the Sunrise Adult Training Center clients out to the beach. It used to be a regular feature, and then sometimes with the change of administrations, the focus changes a little bit, and for some reason that's kind of drifted to the wayside, and then it was decided that we should start it up again, and it was quite successful for being a first again event because it's been maybe 5-6 years that we didn't do it.
I think the last major occasion where we took our sunrise companions to the beach with a picnic was in 2002.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So it obviously that kind of event has some challenges, because some of the people are not as mobile as we normally expect from average people, and then the weather and everything plays a role. So we were lucky; we were able to get three cabanas because sometimes there's high demand for those and you have to reserve them. That gave us a chance to kind of spread out the crowd, because lucky for us this time, the clients came with a lot of the staff, which made the job a lot easier for us. And as usual, it involves some games being played, because the way it I presented it to the club initially. Imagine how you felt during the lockdown, and that's how some of these clients' lives are all the time. So they're very happy when they have an opportunity to come to the beach and enjoy themselves and get some hamburgers. And I told the director of the adult training center that we would also have some sodas, and she said, "Oh, that's a treat for them," because I think they normally try to limit sugar intake and so forth. But even though the weather was not vacation perfect. We did have some rain squalls and stuff, but everybody enjoyed themselves, and it's a different atmosphere. Once it rains, people come closer together. They kind of stick together under the roof and have more interaction that way, and between caregivers or us Rotary members and the clients. So it was a fun day
and we had food,
everyone.
Of course.
Lots of it, lots of food.
As usual, our past president is very modest. In his previous iteration of lives, he was a chef, and he has never lost his skills set. So he guided us in preparation of food for them, burgers and hot dogs and a number of other items, and they were very, very pleased, very happy. They participated in Jenga games. They went on the swings.
Volleyball. There was dancing.
Volleyball and dancing.
Well, this is a start of a new thing again, or a restart of.
It's a restart.
Awesome time.
Yes,
it's a restart because our club, our club used to take our sunrise clients to a nightclub in the middle of the day.
Oh.
And we would play music for them, and they would see the lights, so they would feel there was an exuberance that was unbelievable.
I love that idea,
so
Carl.
I can assure you,
great idea.
We had to revisit this signature project. We had 26 clients, along with 20 support staff, and then we had about 26 or 28 Rotarians who came. So we had a really good time.
Carl, before we go to break, Rotary Central, you do a lot of work helping out locally, but just briefly share your fundraising efforts to assist regionally.
Before we go fundraising, 1 minute, PP Peter, modest as usual, he has taken care of some of our international areas. We were involved in alleviating the fire, helping with the fire in the Honduran Bay Islands.
Yeah.
And before that, the two hurricanes, right? That was the previous year, where Nicaragua and Honduras got hit really badly with the ones that were beyond the regular alphabet, if you recall, Eta and Eta or something like
and
that.
And of course, our brothers and sisters in Haiti.
And of course, Haiti, for our district, 7020, Haiti is a permanent project, at least up to this point, and still the same situation actually.
Okay.
Regarding our monies, we raise money, and we have a very high best practice standard. In fact, our Rotary International is regarded as one of the most reputable organizations, social organizations in the world, civic organizations in the world. Every dollar that we get translates into dollar going into projects. We do separate we have our funds segregated, we have our club management segregated, so we do not take any money fundraised from the public to take care of our club activities. As such, the public is assured that as an NGO, we fulfill our responsibilities in making sure that best practice and fidelity occurs when it comes to funds. And our record with as an NGO is beyond reproach. As such, every dollar that comes in goes right out to projects.
Awesome. And on that note, we want to say thanks to our sponsors this morning, Cayman Insurance Center and Cayman Medical Supplies. If you're just joining us, you're listening to the Business Buzz. We're on our first segment this morning. We're speaking with President Carleen Goodman Huptroff, past President Peter Schmidt, and Mr. Carl Brown, Public Image Director, all of Rotary Central.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Radio Cayman is government-owned. Radio Cayman's first broadcast was in Easter of 1976. We officially began broadcasting in December of the same year. We used to end our broadcast day at 11:30 p.m. and signed off for the night. Years later, we began broadcasting 24/7. Radio Cayman is a hybrid of community, public, and commercial radio. Radio Cayman offers news, talk, and music. And our sister station, Breeze FM, which was started in the 80s, offers music and news headlines. Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Zara. If you are students in Cayman between 3 and 16 years old and love reading books like I do, welcome to the first Rotary Central Video Book Report competition. Record your short video, no more than 90 seconds, on why you love your favorite book, what made you excited, or what made you laugh. There are lots of fabulous prizes. Too many to talk about now. For further information and sign up, go to Rotary Central Cayman Islands Facebook page or email david.rotarycentral@gmail.com. Record your book report video and send it by March 31st. So easy, so fun. The Rotary Central Cayman Islands Video Book Report Competition. Rotary serves to change lives.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
And for 45 years, we have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Oh gosh.
Don't let the stress of taking care of loved ones get you down.
Home care, now made easier with Cayman Medical Supplies. 100% Caymanian owned. Cayman Medical Supplies now stocks a wide range of home care supplies. Hospital beds, all types of wheelchairs, including beach access wheelchairs, lifts, commodes, shower chairs, walkers, Curad brand orthopedic supplies. Free blood glucose monitors with the purchase of 1 pack of test strips, blue underpads, and a whole lot more.
Need home care convenience? Drop by Cayman Medical Supplies at 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, or call 949-6211. Free delivery.
Open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Still delivering island-wide for your convenience.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
And we're speaking from Rotary Central Cayman Islands, President Carleen Goodman Huptroff, past President Peter Schmidt, and Mr. Carl Brown. Carl is the Public Image Director, and so much more for Rotary Central. Now, tonight, it's a big night for you guys.
Yes.
In observance of International Service, Rotary Central, you're continuing to do your part in contributing to the relief efforts around the Ukrainian crisis. Can you provide some more details on the Ukraine fundraiser that you're having tonight at Craft Restaurant.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So when we saw what was going on in Ukraine, we were all, surprised, and, we wanted to help, especially the incoming President Jennifer Tibbetts. She was like, we need to do something. So we came up with the idea of having a bingo, and it has gone from just a regular bingo night to we're at capacity. At Craft, we can only have 100 people, and we are having people calling us, can we come in? We have to turn people away. So we are hoping to raise at least $10,000 to help with the humanitarian effort. We've put together a lot of prizes. Shout out to Rotarian Carol, who has come up with at least $5,000 worth of prizes that are available for the night. And our treasurer Paul came up with something that's valued to put us over the threshold, and we are hoping that we can raise at least $10,000 from it. So bingo, how it's going to work, we do have some bingo cards packages put together. So you get, on entry, you get your package that's $25 worth, and of course you can buy more tickets if we want to, have more bingos. We will have auctions, we will have a raffle, of course, because we can't have a Rotary event without a raffle. And all that put together. We do have Ukrainian drinks, Ukrainian themed drinks. We've got food as well that would be on offer, and the restaurant is promising for every drink they sell, they will donate monies back towards the fundraiser as well. So we're hopeful that we would.
Okay, that's your fundraiser. Now, my question is, if you have individuals out in the community who would like to contribute to the fundraiser, to the effort, do you have a contact that they can reach out?
Yeah, they can contact myself. My number is 936-1344, or they can contact Rotarian Carol. Her number is 939-8036, and you can make a pledge, and we can find you and get your money and make sure that it gets to the right place.
Unfortunately, just because of COVID and restrictions, we have reached our threshold regarding attendees, but we know that there are souls out there who have a heart for this, and we will be here to accommodate them.
Yep.
So they can call those numbers and they can make contributions.
Okay, so that's Crowley 936-1344, or Carol at 939-8036.
Correct.
Or call me here, Anita, and I'll give you those numbers.
Awesome, thank you.
The important aspect to mention is that as a conduit for the proceeds to be delivered for the purpose that it is intended, we are using the Rotary network, which assures that there will be minimum loss of funds along the way. And we have a proven method of transmitting the aid to where it actually is needed, which is very important because there are so many charities out there that have huge percentages in cost attached to donations, and Rotary is a proven entity, and so that's the way we'll most likely will transmit those proceeds.
Also, Ukraine is part of our Rotary
family. I was
just
going to ask you that.
And Russia. There are 62 Rotary clubs in Ukraine. There are 1,100 members, and they are on the ground, and they are in direct contact with Rotary International. As such, we are assured that process is going to translate right to the ground in very short order. So your contribution is going to have a significant effect.
Yeah, and one thing that we wanted to impress is that our money is not going towards fighting or, continuing the wars. It's more humanitarian aid, correct, yeah. Because
Rotary is one of the fundamental principles of Rotary is peace. And in fact, because of Rotary's ethos established back in 1905, we were part of the formation of the United Nations, and as such, we are the only NGO that has an office established at the United Nations, because we have had a track record of being a part of providing and assisting the facilitating peace around the world.
That's great information, Carl.
Yeah, which is one of the 7 areas of focus of Rotary.
Yes.
Is peace and conflict prevention and resolution. We've done it for a long time, and even though we're not political organization, their humanitarian efforts are always needed in many areas of the world.
And in fact, right now, Rotary clubs in Russia are working under the wire, along with Belarus, to assist Ukraine in their own way.
The other half.
Yeah.
Yes, in their own way. So regardless of conflict on the surface, our ethos is, as a tribe, Rotary, is held, the fidelity is held regarding purpose.
Okay. Now, apart from all of this, what are some of the other general programs that Rotary Central you're involved in right now?
There's so many.
I hear.
One of the things that really saddened me this year is because of the whole COVID situation, we could not get to do our health screening this year. And that's something that, I look forward to. We normally do 2, one, a mini one and a big one throughout the island. So hopefully that'll be back on track next year once we get back to normal, quote and unquote. So one of the things that you would see around the island are all the bus shelters, of course. So that provides some shelter for persons that are, waiting on public transport, and it also provides us with some income because we get the ads that are placed in there. So it comes back and helps us with other projects that we do as well. We're still involved with the Junior Achievement. We have Rotaract, Ryla, Science Fair, Take a Kid Fishing, all those, things.
Our Science Fair this year is going to go virtual, but it's going to be still there. It's going to be going virtual as a result of caution over COVID, and because we had an explosion of COVID during the latter part of last year regarding our school population. So we're still going to be in Science Fair.
Cautious, okay. Yeah. Now, membership. Let's talk membership because we're almost out of time, Carl.
Yeah.
How many members does the organization have presently, and what is the process to become a member of Rotary Central? If you're looking for more members, that is.
Members?
82.
Okay.
And I proudly say that 50% of our 82 are female members.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And in fact, this month is a celebration of women.
You're welcome
Women's
to come.
Month.
Just saying.
We, Miss Andrea Bryan it was under President Jennison in 1996. She became our first lady member. And thereafter, we had our first lady president, which was Sandy McFarlane, in 2007. So this month, I told you March is not done with us. The celebration of women, we have been able to celebrate the fact that our membership diversification has been remarkably successful.
And that's the reason why you have all the women. I'm just kidding.
I can assure you that Rotary clubs, prior to a certain time, we were an all-male club. From the moment we became inclusive, Rotary has not looked back. Our clubs they've quadrupled their interest, their impact, and the emphasis on specific areas has been off the charts in terms of effect. Okay. So women have been indispensable.
And how can they sign up?
So first of all, you can go to our website, rotarycentral.ky. There is information there to contact the secretary. They can contact her, and if she can provide information as to where we meet, when we meet. We are meeting at the Boathouse, which is upstairs Guy Harvey's, every Tuesday from 7:30 p.m. Normally lasts an hour thereabouts. And once you come, you see what we do, get involved with different projects, then you can, make a decision whether or not you want to continue, or the club makes a decision as well whether, you are Rotary material, basically. And we take it from there.
Okay.
And our
so
several
you don't
clubs
have to be invited, right? Sorry, Carl. You have to be invited to attend?
Not to attend. You can certainly, normally there might be somebody will ask you to come and with them to a meeting if it's an acquaintance or something, but you can also come of your own volition and attend the meeting with us and come to some projects, and then there will be a point where there is an invitation made for you to become a member. But the process is initiated before that, and it's almost a foregone conclusion at the time of the invitation that you will join.
Yeah, we previously had to be invited, but Rotary has kind of opened up a bit now.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to each and every one of you. I want to say thank you. We're down to crunch time. News is coming up. President Carleen,
yes,
thank you so much. Past President Mr. Peter Schmidt, thank you. And Carl.
I would like to thank our audience for being so gracious and being so much a part of our success. And Radio Cayman.
And before we go, I just still want to give a shout out to Director Patrick, who has been an amazing director for community service this past year, who is the son of VP Peter.
Director Patrick has been the central success story of, even under COVID, has been able to take our community service to a level that we have never experienced before.
Okay, and on that note, Carl, we have to leave. We've got news coming up. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Business Buzz this morning. Stay tuned. Susan's got a time check, Radio Cayman's news, and after the traffic report, we'll chat with reps from Royal Medical and Wellness Center.
Thank you, Anita. Studio time now by Foster's is a minute after 8 o'clock.
This Easter, make it all about eating better with Foster's.
Make it easy with our all-new Easter dinners, prepared fresh by our deli team.
First, choose your main from Escovitch snapper, Cayman-style beef, maple glazed ham, and smoked jerk pork shoulder.
Then customize it with your choice of sides and desserts. Plus, every order comes with dinner rolls and coleslaw.
And the best part? All you need to do is serve and enjoy.
Order yours online from $94.99 at fosters.ky/Easter.
This Easter, make it Foster's. Better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. The power company is telling residents to strap in for some bigger bills as fuel prices and temperatures are set to rise. The war in Ukraine and supply chain issues with regards to COVID-19 have heavily impacted global prices, which will hit just as hard locally with upcoming electricity bills. Caribbean Utilities Company says they will keep customers in the know through social media, and they have tips on helping you save money, adding that unprecedented increases in fuel costs combined with increased consumption associated with summer months could lead to, quote, significant bill increases. The power company says there is typically a 2-month delay between market prices and the impact on your electricity bill, so you may not see immediate fuel increases on your March to April bills. This gives you time to make adjustments now to prepare and work to limit your consumption to avoid getting slammed on your energy bill. The highest energy consumers in a house tend to be air conditioning, deep freezers, and gaming computers. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Annual Crime and Traffic Statistical Report for 2021 is set to be released to the public this week. On Wednesday morning, the RCIPS plans a 10:30 a.m. press conference, which you can hear live right here on Radio Cayman, as well as the Cayman Islands Government YouTube and Facebook pages. The panel will be led by the Commissioner of Police and Chief Officer of the Office of the Commission of Police, Derek Byrne, along with the RCIPS Senior Command Team. And the University College of the Cayman Islands receives a major grant from the Resembid program. Paul Puckeren, Interim Dean of the Professional and Technical Education and Training Division.
It's a privilege to thank Resembid for the generous grant of $405,000 for the training of 50 Caymanian students in sustainable trades. This will impact the lives of our students by making it possible for them to enter the workforce with skills that will prepare and place them in positions to earn a living.
Resembit is funded by the European Union and implemented by Expertise France, the development cooperation agency of the government of France. They support human development efforts in 12 Caribbean overseas countries and territories. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Moira Alderson. Ukraine's government says some Russian military units have withdrawn from the Kyiv and Chernihiv regions. The Russian Defense Ministry has said Moscow intends to, as he puts it, drastically reduce troop levels in those areas. There's been no independent confirmation of any withdrawal. In the latest fighting, a Russian missile strike on the regional administration offices in Mykolaiv in southern Ukraine has left at least 3 people dead. The latest face-to-face talks between delegations from Ukraine and Russia have ended in Istanbul. Turkish media say the discussions lasted 3 hours. The Ukrainian side said it had suggested a new system of security guarantees, with countries like Turkey acting as guarantors. The head of the UN's atomic watchdog is in Ukraine for talks on safety at the country's nuclear plants. Rafael Grossi said there had been several close calls since Russia invaded. British police say they're issuing an initial 20 fines over events hosted at government buildings in London in breach of coronavirus restrictions. Officers have been investigating a dozen gatherings. Financial services employees are sleeping in their offices in Shanghai as companies try to maintain operations during the Chinese city's coronavirus lockdown. Reports have emerged of thousands of people bedding down at their places of work. The International Monetary Fund and Mozambique have reached an agreement on a loan of nearly $500 million. It's the first since the IMF suspended support 6 years ago. 2 women ministers from Indonesia and Qatar, 2 predominantly Muslim nations, have met a top Taliban official to discuss girls' education in Afghanistan. They held talks in Doha. Queen Elizabeth has attended a Thanksgiving service at Westminster Abbey for her late husband, Prince Philip. It was her first public appearance in 5 months. That's the latest. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Let me tell you something. I've been fishing our island since I was a boy, and it's getting harder and harder to get a good catch. Maybe it's because there are so many more people in Cayman than ever before. Maybe it's because of how the climate is changing. I don't know about that, but I do know that I want to be able to keep fishing and teach my children to fish one day as well. So it makes sense to me that we have certain areas and certain times of the year to fish for certain things. This year, a new rule was placed on fishing for grouper that says no one can fish for nass or grouper anywhere in Cayman from December 1st to April 30th while they're spawning. There is also no fishing allowed at all for any kinds of fish in the spawning zones, and no scuba diving there either. It feels unfair not to be allowed to fish where my dad taught me to fish, but I know that being patient now means we can keep fishing for many more generations. We're all in this together, right?
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Head east on Cove Road.
Sharp left on Church Street. Sharper left. No, your other left. Did I say left? Nope, you missed it. Okay, I'm lost.
With money-saving bundling options for home and motor, we're like a GPS that doesn't steer you wrong. CG Brit K. Good like that.
Let's stop and ask for directions.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 78 degrees. Relative humidity is 73%. The barometric pressure 30.05 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 10 knots. Overnight low temperature was 77 degrees. Synoptics indicate fresh to strong northeasterly winds and rough seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours. In association with a high-pressure system over the southeast United States. Satellite images show scattered low-level clouds around the Cayman area moving towards the southwest. Now, the forecast for today and tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will rise to the mid-80s today and will fall to the low 70s tonight. Winds will be east at 15 to 20 knots for tonight and 20 to 25 knots for today. Seas will be rough with wave heights of 5 to 7 feet. Small craft warning remains in effect for today and tonight as well. We're presently at a high tide, and the next low tide will be this afternoon at 2:22. High tide again tonight at 8:19. The sun will set this evening at 6:37 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:21. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Thursday as the high-pressure system drifts over the western Atlantic Ocean.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Brit K, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course, Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Brit K. Good like that.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at what's happening on our roads. Busy traffic coming from the east on Shamrock Road and, of course, on the Linford Pearson Highway. A lot of patience needed this morning. Delays expected. Busy traffic on Cool Road heading to Georgetown, and eastbound traffic on Cool Road is moving along moderately. Godfrey Nixon Way, traffic is moderate in both directions. And busy traffic coming off the Esther Tibbetts Highway and all roads in the vicinity of the Butterfield roundabout on Orson Road. Traffic is steady but flowing. On the West Bay Road, traffic steady but flowing in both directions, especially in front of the Ritz. Into Georgetown on Shedden Road, not looking too bad as traffic is flowing at a good pace. Edward Street, moderate flow of traffic. And that's very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Remember, click it or ticket.
Subway makes it easy for you to stay on top of your health and wellness goals with our Fresh Fit menu options. Choose from 5 Fresh Fit Subway sandwiches with only 450 calories or less per 6-inch sub. Turkey breast, veggie, oven roasted chicken, Black Forest ham, sweet onion chicken teriyaki, or make your 6-inch Fresh Fit sub into a salad or wrap prepared with fresh vegetables. For a full menu and nutritional information, visit subway.ky. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Business Buzz. This is the second segment of the Business Buzz for this morning. If you're traversing the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, especially if you're coming from up east, just a little bit of patience. You'll eventually get to work. Even this morning at about 6:15, it was busy, but the traffic was moving. And I know normally at this time it's back to back, bumper to bumper, wheel to wheel, horn to horn, whatever. but it's normally busy. So please take your time. And you know what? What is annoying in the traffic, especially coming from east? I mean, it happens everywhere else, but there's a space in front of you, the car between cars, and there's someone behind you. They must get into that space. So it definitely holds up the traffic, and it gets annoying after a while. But we're not talking traffic this morning. We're talking health. Your health, my health. Miss Susan. Good morning, Susan. I forgot to mention that Susan was on a nice long vacation, and she's back looking this morning fresh, and you know, I'm like, I need some of that vacation, Susan. Mine soon come. But thank you, Susan. Susan is our producer, of course, of the Business Buzz. Producer. So this morning we have in the studio on the segment from Royal Medical Center, Royal Medical and Wellness Center. Let me get that right. They're here this morning to discuss all things wellness, medical, whatever you want to call it. But we want to say welcome to Mr. Kirk Donald. He's RMT, Director of Royal Medical and Wellness Center. And we have Dr. Tanika Grant Davis. And, of course, she's the OBGYN, and she's no stranger. They're both no strangers to our Radio Cayman studios. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's always a pleasure to have you in here.
And it's always a pleasure to be here.
But the next time you come back, you make sure you bring decaf coffee.
Okay, certainly.
Susan takes regular, right, Susan? She doesn't drink. She's boring. I thought I was boring. People tell me I'm boring. I drink decaf, but you know what? That's fine. So how are you both doing this morning?
We're pretty happy to be here. Thank you so much for having us on the show again.
Now, I know all about Royal Medical and Wellness Center, but let's for the benefit of the other listeners who have no idea, can you give us a brief history of Royal Medical and Wellness Center and what it takes to operate a medical facility?
Okay. Well, we started in 2019, just before COVID. Mm-hmm. And we been through the worst, and we're back now blooming. The medical center is located in Pageant Plaza, opposite the wharf, that same plaza with Kentucky. So far, we offer in urgent care. We do rheumatology. We have OBGYN, and we have a in-house lab. The center is doing well. Our doctors at the moment are, very efficient and knowledgeable and kind and
well dressed.
And
I have to tell you, Dr. Tamika came in this morning. I love her colors. Her handbag matches her shoes, but anyway, just getting off track.
Yes, that's so true. The center, we do almost everything. Is one of those centers where you come and get everything done, at the same place. We offer, as I said before, urgent care. We do all the medicals. We do all the regular stuff. So just in case, you need somewhere to go, Royal Medical Center is the place to go.
It's the place to go.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Kirk. All right, so I'm the obstetrician and gynecologist at Royal Medical. I'm also the clinical director, so I'm going to give you some more information as to what else we offer, especially in terms of female health, because you know what this month is?
International Women's Month.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to use this opportunity to talk to you more about women's health, especially as it relates to menopause, which is my area of specialty. Mr. Donald has explained some some tests are what we offer at Royal Medical, but I wanted to also point out that we are offering something more, even much more revolutionary now. We're offering genetic testing that can actually tell you about your health. And I'm just going to tell you a few of them before I'm going to tell you about menopause. Okay. Right? Mm-hmm. So one of the tests that we offer genetically can tell you your mental and physical foundation, your training response, fuel utilization, recovery, and injuries. This is from your genes. We also have a wellness program at Royal Medical. That's why it's Royal Medical and Wellness. So we've started our first cohort of weight loss patients that were at the beach cleanup. Mm-hmm. Right?
We'll talk about the beach cleanup a little bit.
We're going to talk about the beach cleanup different. And what we offer these patients is also genetic testing that can tell us their weight loss predisposition in terms of metabolism, weight loss tendency, their ability to regain, and this is from their genes. Mm-hmm. I don't know where else in Cayman has this. We can tell you what food you're supposed to eat, what things you're sensitive to, what nutrients you're likely to be deficient in, how your response is going to be to cardio, your response of your insulin to exercise, all in your genes. So you have to come to Royal. Right? We can tell you, and so much more that we can tell you, but that would take up a lot of the show. I just really want to get into the menopause. I know we have a short time, but menopause very, very relevant now.
Can you hold on to menopause? Because we have time. Okay, I want to hear. Right. I want to hear a little bit more about the genetics.
Okay, good. All right, so we also...
Okay, you just can't start and tell me that you don't...
you get just very excited about it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so we generally have a nutrient test, which we call SpectraCell, which Kirk was going to talk about, micronutrients. So all your nutrients, whether it is your magnesium, your chromium, all those nutrients, we can do a full host test. What this genetic test, though, will do also will tell you your tendency to be deficient. So in other words, suppose we did all your vitamin tests and we saw that you're normal in some vitamins. Your genetic test could tell me that you have a tendency to be low in B12, even though it's normal now. So that means you would need supplementation. You'd have a tendency for calcium levels to be low. A whole list. I can list all the vitamins here. You get a 67-page report. So this is just a summary. Because once we get these vitamins that you have a tendency to be deficient in, there's going to be a plan as to what you really need to eat, what program you're supposed to be on. 67 pages. You have to get this.
So who interprets those 67 pages?
All right, so
the
it's
client or you?
No, it's interpreted by the persons who offer the genetic testing. Okay. So let me tell you, since you're so interested in that one, because apart from being an obstetrician and gynecologist, as you know, I did training in Dubai in aesthetic and anti-aging. Right, so that's why I'm so interested.
We all need that.
We all need it, right? And it's not only about just looking younger; it's about just living longer and having a healthy brain. So, as an adjunct to anti-aging, this genetic testing is about renewing. So it looks at how you look just based on your genes. It will tell us about how you may look based on your genes. About also how you may feel. Can you imagine? Your genes can tell you about how you may respond to other persons. So in terms of look, we can tell if you're sun sensitivity, if you're normal sun sensitive, not, how your skin may age, how your face may age, if you may have stretch marks, if you may have fat deposition at certain places, how you may feel in terms of like an intrinsic motivation to exercise, if you have addictive abilities just from your genes, impulse control, sleep duration, your sugar intake, just from a simple blood test. And what's good about these genetic tests is that once we take the blood from you once, they store it.
Blood test. You do a blood test. Okay.
Right, it's a blood test to get your genes. So once we've gotten that from you, they store it. So if you want to come back, there are other genetic tests that they have available. If you want to do cancer, they can check all your DNA to see what you're also prone to in terms of cancer. Right.
And that's done through the blood test as well.
The blood test, they store your genes, right? So, and it's only at Royal Medical.
And she probably says that, right?
Yes. Because you see the whole.
So is this a new technology? Not technology, but a new concept, a new thing?
Well, genetic testing has been around for many years.
Right.
But for them to segment it into these different areas, whether it's anti-aging, weight loss, that is different. and revolutionary. Because now we don't have to guess what may be good for you to lose weight. Your genes will tell us. Because persons may think, hey, carbohydrates are bad for me, but the test can say, actually, you do better on carbohydrates.
So is it one? So it's one test. Let me get this right. It's one test.
It's one.
Okay, because I'm thinking if you're testing for cancer, if it's another test, or if it's just one test that would do all of that.
Okay, so it's one
one
blood
sample.
Yeah, one sample.
But different analyses.
Okay. All right.
One sample meaning one time we stick you.
Right.
So
you'll know exactly which one you're interested in finding out what you're deficient in or whether you have that cancer gene.
Right. So when you come in, we'll talk to you and then you can decide which one you want. Because you won't get all of them.
Right. That's what I'm trying to
Right.
Okay. All right. Very good. And is this? Would you tell us the cost or no?
We won't tell the cost on the air.
Okay. All right.
Well, you can come in and we can
find out.
Find out.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome. Now, like you said, it's
and we can leave these with you. We can leave.
Okay,
these
sure.
This is just a summary. Remember, they're like 6 or 7.
I've got homework for tonight.
You have homework, and there's so much more potential, especially this one, which we'll speak about another time.
Okay, so when did you introduce this?
We introduced it this year.
Okay, this year. All right. So was the response been like?
Well, so far the patients want to do it. The majority of them have already done the micronutrient testing, right? And that's just a few of the tests that we offer. Because Kirk has a list there as well, right? Because for the pregnant moms,
Sorry,
he has a little list there.
Okay, so for the micronutrient, it composes of 36 different vitamins and minerals and all those nutrients that we need to survive. Big on the list are the vitamin A, B, B1, B2, B12, C, D, K, biotin, folate, and the list goes on. Some of them I didn't even know what them about. Oleic acid,
but I know what they're about.
Yeah, but that's the purpose of the micronutrient testing. And insurance do cover, if I can say that.
The testing. Awesome.
So micronutrients, as I said all the time, sometimes people just eat irregular food and don't realize that your body need much more than rice and peas and chicken to survive. So micronutrient can actually tell you what you're deficient in, what you need, to get up to scratch. So, and I'm not sure if there's anybody else on the islands that provide this, but I know, we get a lot of referrals for it.
Okay.
So we do a lot of it.
How about collagen? Anything on your list?
Collagen. I don't see.
Why ask about collagen in terms of aging?
Yeah, because a lot of women, when you get up, say, into your late 50s, you start to lose that
the collagen
elasticity in your face, in your skin,
Right, so that's why we went to the genetics. That's what you need to do, genetic test.
Okay.
I can't tell you about all that, the face, everything. So I'm gonna leave that with you. So that's even better. It's going straight to the genes, straight to the source of the problem. But in general, we also do other cancer screens, CA, PSA screening, breast cancer screen. And we also have tests for fertility, for the men who have fertility needs, women as well, for inflammation, inflammatory markers, cardiovascular tests. And for pregnancy, we have Panorama, which is a cell-free DNA test. So essentially, if a pregnant mom comes in and we want to do screening for Down syndrome, it's a blood test, which is also revolutionary, getting the baby's cells from mommy's blood and looking at the baby's genes. So that's the area we look into, more detailed testing, much more information on patients.
Okay. If you're just joining us, you're listening to the second segment of the Business Buzz this morning. We're speaking to Mr. Kirk Donald, RMT, Director of Royal Medical and Wellness Centre. And alongside him, we have Dr. Tanika Grant-Davis, OBGYN. And I know she's rearing to talk about menopause. So what we're going to do, Susan, we're going to take that break, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion with them. Thanks to our sponsors this morning, Cayman Insurance Center and Cayman Medical Supplies. Oh gosh.
Don't let the stress of taking care of loved ones get you down.
Home care, now made easier with Cayman Medical Supplies. 100% Caymanian owned. Cayman Medical Supplies now stocks a wide range of home care supplies. Hospital beds, all types of wheelchairs, including beach access wheelchairs, lifts, commodes, shower chairs, walkers, Curad brand orthopedic supplies. Free blood glucose monitors with the purchase of 1 pack of test strips, blue underpads, and a whole lot more.
Need home care convenience? Drop by Cayman Medical Supplies at 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, or call 949-6211. Free delivery.
Open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Still delivering island-wide for your convenience. Cayman Turtle Conservation and Education Center invites you to join them on Sunday, April 3rd for their 2nd annual Turtle Crawl 5K Walk and Run. All funds raised from the event will support the conservation of green sea turtles in the Cayman Islands. So come on out and show your support. The 2nd annual Turtle Crawl 5K Walk and Run. Learn more and register now at www.turtlecrawl.ky. Proudly sponsored by HSM, Rotary Central, Advanced Fire Services, Gatorade, and Radio Cayman. Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
We're speaking with Mr. Kirk Donald, RMT, Director of Royal Medical Royal Medical and Wellness Center this morning. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I need coffee. And Dr. Tanika Grant-Davis, OBGYN. And we're discussing, we're going to talk about menopause, because I know, Dr. Tanika, this is your area of expertise.
Okay, so menopause. So meno is from the Greek word menos, which means really cessation. No, which means monthly. And then pause is from Greek, which means pause. Termination. So menopause essentially means cessation of your monthly periods. So most people are aware of that. What most people are not aware of is like, what does it really mean to be in menopause? After your periods have stopped for 12 months, you're by definition in menopause. And this is very important because you may have persons who've stopped the periods for 12 months, they have some bleed, and then they think, oh, their periods have started again. If that happened to you ladies, you really need to come in to see the specialist, so that's not normal. Mm-hmm. All right, so menopause is very relevant now because more persons are aging. So presently, all the people below 15 would make up 2 times the amount of menopausal women we have now. But by 2050, it's expected to double. So in other words, by 2050, we're looking at having 2 billion menopausal persons in the world. That's a huge number. So it's something that we have to look at from now. So that's why we have all these testing to look at it to see how well we'll age and what we can improve on. So when women come in for menopause, a lot of women are coming in now because a lot of information is available to us now as we are aging. So when women come in, what we do for them at Royal Medical, we get a full history. A lot of time, women who are in the menopause, they come in just because, their periods have stopped and they really just want a checkup. But in doing a detailed history, we realize that there are lots of other issues that are happening. So in general, what you'll know about menopausal women, that majority of persons will present with, 70% of them will present with what they call hot flushes, or we call vasomotor symptoms, very common. But the 2 other big issues that tend to happen with menopausal women is that they may have psychological issues as well as sexual dysfunction. And those last 2 they may not present for. They'll just present for the hot flashes or something else. The reason I want to talk about this as it relates to menopausal women is that they have to be aware that it's happening to a lot of persons. So they're not the only ones that are suffering. So it's very important that they come in. So a large majority of patients come in may have, features of depression or features of anxiety. And what happens with women in the menopausal period is that it's a special period. You're going into your late 40s, your children are grown up, they may be giving you more trouble than you anticipate, you may be changing jobs. And generally the society is for youth and fertility. So we live in a society that really idolizes youth and fertility. So a lot of stress is put on the menopausal female. And therefore, they need someone that really understands those stressors and not just seeing that, when you have a problem, oh, it's just menopause. We can actually work to help you through this period, right? So when a woman comes in and we've done our full history examination, we find out what's happening with her. We do biochemical studies as well. Because chemically, we can actually say if you're in the menopause. So there are blood tests that we do to assess the woman's ovarian function, right? So what most persons don't know about the fertility is that women are born with a fixed number of eggs. So when they're inside, they have several million, and by their 28 weeks in utero, when you're a female inside your mom, you start losing your eggs. So by the time they're born, they have 500,400,000 eggs left, okay? So in other words, the amount of eggs we have is fixed, and that's what really determines how much female hormones we have. And as we age, the decline continues. So by you reach menopause, you'll have like 1,000 eggs.
Okay. Is there anything like a fake, not fake, but a fake menopause or a false menopause?
No.
Is there such a thing?
No, there's not such a thing. But I know where that question is coming from. Because there are persons who would have stopped having their periods for 6 months and then their period comes back. But they were not in the menopause. Okay. So what happens is that you have different phases before you actually reach the menopause. So you have what we call the perimenopause. So during this perimenopause phase, it can be very confusing for persons. Okay, you may have a period where you're not having any periods. We call that amenorrhea. As well as your periods may start becoming irregular. You may be having it 2 times for the month, or you may just be skipping a month at each time. So this is what we call the perimenopause. And I think some persons call that a false menopause. It's not really say it's a false menopause. It's like a stage 2, the menopause.
Ah, makes sense.
And what happened now is that 2001, they redefined how they even look at menopause. Because essentially people used to think that menopause is just, you're 51, which is the average age most women go into menopause, which is 51. But now that you're realizing that even after that, until you die, you actually have symptoms related to the menopause. Most of the symptoms is 6 years after you reach 51, but you still have some features. So we think of menopause now more like a continuum and not just a static number.
Right. Now, are there instances that you've seen in your work where, say you have somebody in the early 30s or mid-30s that went through like a shock, they had a shock to their system, whether it's a death or something like that, and they go into menopause?
Right, so before 40, that would be premature menopause. So that's unusual, right?
Can that be due to stress or shock or?
Well, what I've found is that some persons, they may have like a loss of a spouse, or they may have had something traumatic, and then it affected their periods. But what you see happen is that stress affects what we call cortisol, which is your stress hormone. And that stress hormone can affect the female hormones, and that can cause, it's not a study, but based on how the hormones work, it could cause you to go into menopause before time. But for us to say, it's related to studies, we'd have to have a wide amount of women that happening to. So that's what we call incidental finding. It's an incidental finding.
Right. Okay.
But in addition to what you said, there are persons who are younger than 40 going to menopause for surgical reasons as well. We may have taken out an ovary, so they're going to menopause earlier, right? Or they may have had chemotherapy or radiation elsewhere, and that can affect the ovaries as well. And menopause too is highly genetic too. So some persons may go into menopause a little bit earlier based on genes and of course environment, which is stress, diet, even the air that we breathe. So we find that in developed countries, persons going to menopause on average 1.5 years earlier than people who are in the developing countries, because there's more pollution, as well as there are other environmental things. If you were breastfed, you're going to go into the menopause later than other persons. If you started your period later, you're also going to menopause at a later period. So there are a lot of things to take into consideration. So yes, stress, but there could be other things. So for a person like that, we'd have to bring them in and get the full picture. Because there will be something else that's missing, right?
So as a OBGYN, Dr. Tanika, you specialize in menopause?
I specialize in menopause because menopause comes under the whole branch of anti-aging medicine. Right? So called anti-aging medicine. Right, so I don't want persons to be dissuaded by the anti-aging label. It's not. We are not against getting old, you know. Not because.
Well, we work as hard as we can to keep it off as long as possible.
But anti-aging are so. In terms of aging, there are different pathways that have been postulated for aging. But one of the main pathways that we look at as anti-aging medicine doctors is inflammation and hormones. Why? Because those are two things we can modulate a lot. So when you think of anti-aging, it's broad. I mean, it's not only for persons looking young, but it's for people who, you know, are concerned about inflammatory things that's like related to dementia or Alzheimer's or autism. All that comes under really anti-aging. So it's really broad. It's not just to, as I said, to make you look younger, but it's to make your brain stay around longer, your body stay around longer. Because, you know, as they always say, there's no good health without good mental health.
That's right.
Right? And if you don't have a good health, you can't have a good life. Because you're going to spend most of your time just struggling to keep healthy. So it's all connected and it's all related.
And you won't be able to spend that money you spend your whole life working.
Exactly. So right. So anti-aging looks at prevention. So that's why we have all these genetic screens. If you have a predisposition to certain problems, then you really should avoid them. Right. For instance, if you drink alcohol, persons who drink alcohol, it can affect how your body metabolizes estrogen. So if you have like a condition like PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, where you tend to have higher estrogen, really you should be avoiding that. Right? You should, just simple things like that can, you know, educating the patient can make their life so much better.
Okay. Now, hormone replacement treatment. When do you recommend it for someone? I know it'd be probably on an individual basis, but when do you recommend it to, say, a client who's going through menopause?
Well, hormone replacement therapy for the listeners essentially means we're trying to replace the female hormones or bring them up to a level before the menopausal stage. In terms of the hormones that females usually have is estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Testosterone is commonly known as a male hormone, but women have that hormone as well, just at a different level. So hormone replacement therapy means we'll be trying to supplement those hormones in women. First, the persons have to be fully screened because hormones, just like any drug, right?
Right. Okay.
So we check your estrogen level, your progesterone level, your testosterone level, as well as other hormones that may affect your female hormones. And based on that, we can make a decision. All right? But as I told before, when the patient comes in, we do a history examination with a blood test. Blood test is one thing because your levels could be low, but you may not have any symptoms. Okay. As well as the blood test could be based on the numbers normal, but you're having symptoms. So it's personally based. But in terms of when you get the hormone replacement therapy, it's usually better to actually start before you reach menopause. Right, in the perimenopause, it's actually better to start. Reason being is that the studies show if you're going to give hormone replacement therapy to get the positive effects, which is one of the main positive effects, not just looking younger, is the effect on the cardiovascular system. So let me interject. What do you think is the most common cause of death in women?
Lack of hormones.
I like that you're working with us. but most people think it's related to the breast or something female, but it's actually cardiovascular disease. And most people don't see women as the ones who are having heart problems because women tend not to smoke, it's men. But cardiovascular disease is the number one killer in women. So as a part of the menopause assessment, we do that screen for you. We screen you for cardiovascular risk. But I'm saying that to say that the hormone replacement therapy, why it's coming more on board is because of that benefit of the cardiovascular protection. The estrogen has an effect on the heart and the blood vessels. So, but the effect is better if you actually start before the menopause.
Before.
Right.
Interesting.
Because what happens is that they find that when they started for persons in the menopause, that's when the risk kind of, most of the risks are seen. And one of the things with estrogen, as most people know, is that it can make your blood a little bit thick, as I explained to the patient, so you're more at risk of blood clots. Right, so in doing hormone replacement therapy, we have to balance that, the risk of blood clots and then the benefits to the cardiovascular system. So not everybody also would be a candidate. I mean, if you have a history of DVT, blood clots, pulmonary embolism, you wouldn't be a good candidate.
How about someone like breast cancer?
Well, persons who actively have breast cancer, they wouldn't be a candidate. Okay. And in terms of risk, if they had a risk factor, it depends on, if there is a first-degree relative or not, then we have to take that in consideration. But persons who've had a risk of, like a family history of breast cancer, they've also taken HRT because there can be some benefit as well. So we have to wait for each patient. Right. So it's not just a one question, you have to see the whole patient too. Because in treating persons, especially with hormone replacement therapy, you want patients that, will come in and will communicate and let you know what's happening. So it's not just for everybody. You want persons who are very astute as to their body and what's changing. Because in giving hormone replacement therapy, especially giving estrogen, it can put you at risk of some estrogen-related cancers. Mm-hmm. So that's why we screen it before. Right. For instance, suppose we're giving you hormone replacement therapy. You're menopausal, and you start having heavy bleeding. Then we have to screen you for something like endometrial cancer because we've been giving you estrogen, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. But in general, though, when we give our hormone replacement therapy, we make it as balanced as possible. So you get estrogen, some progesterone, and some testosterone.
That's right. Okay.
I see you want to move on. What I want to testosterone.
Okay, we'll come back to that. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Mr. Kirk Donald, RMT, Director of Royal Medical and Wellness Center. Also from Royal Medical and Wellness Center, Dr. Tanika Grant-Davis, OB-GYN. Thanks to our sponsors this morning, Cayman Insurance Center and Cayman Medical Supplies.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
And for 45 years, we have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Throughout the history of pageantry, we've seen strong women represent the Cayman Islands on the international stage. They have gone on to create their own businesses, serve in public office, and continue to give back to our islands. Today, we are looking for more Caymanian women like these, who are strong, intelligent, and wish to give back to our community. If you wish to take part in the Miss World Cayman Islands pageant and to go on to represent the Cayman Islands at the Miss World pageant in 2022, please contact MissWorldCayman@gmail.com.
Attention parents and guardians. Any child who is 5 years old by 31st August must be enrolled in an approved educational program, including government, private, or homeschooling program. Registration for the 2022-23 academic year begins on 1st April. Applications received before 1st April will not be considered. Detailed students' registration guidelines and forms are available on the Department of Education Services website at www.schools.edu.ky or by emailing edu.registration@gov.ky.
It's an early years extravaganza, the first ever of its kind, happening right here in the Cayman Islands at Victory Tabernacle, Eastern Avenue, on Sunday, April 3 at 4:30 p.m. It will be an evening of excellence. If you have children between the ages of 6 months to 8 years old, come on down and join this expression of the arts. There will be music, dances, poems, early years fashion show, and much, much more. To register your item, please scan the QR code on the flyer or email us at ecce@gov.ky. This is brought to you by the Early Childhood Care and Education Unit in the Ministry of Education. It's an early years extravaganza at Victory Tabernacle, Eastern Avenue, on Sunday, April 3 at 4:30 p.m.
Business Buzz. Anita Khan.
And we're on the final leg of the Business Buzz this morning. Susan is waiting to get that sweet, sweet music on in the breakfast session. But in the meantime, we're having a discussion with Mr. Kirk Donnell, RMT Director of Royal Medical and Wellness Center, as well as Dr. Tanika Grant-Davis, OBGYN, and we're touching on the menopause subject. And Dr. Tanika, you had something else to add to what you were talking about before break.
Right. So I was just mentioning that females also have testosterone at a different level than men. So testosterone supplementation actually is beneficial to women. And that leads up to my other thing that I was mentioning about the menopausal woman. Remember I said that they usually come in for screening, the usual symptoms, and they have psychological dysfunctions and sexual dysfunction. Or sexual dysfunction is very big because up until your 60s, 70s, women still want to have sexual intercourse. But what happens is that the psychological issues that affect some women, not all, can really affect sexual intercourse. So they have a sexual dysfunction. And a good amount of it is related to hormones. So they have what we call urogenital dysfunction. Uro meaning bladder, genital meaning to do with the genital area. So they have a lot of thinning to the mucosa there because of the low estrogen. So they may have dry vaginas, they may have a lot of itching in the ear, they may be more prone to UTIs. The pH of the vagina changes. So women who never used to have a discharge all of a sudden now start having discharges. And those things are like barriers to sexual intercourse. And apart from that, the mood affect their what we call libido. So their sex drive. And that's a big thing for marriage and relationships. And that again, it's like a cycle now. So that's another stress.
And for a woman on the whole.
For a woman on the whole. So that's another stress now. So that's not happening. More stress. And the more stress you have, the more affect your hormone. It's like a cycle. So that's why for us at Royal Medical, we look at wellness, not just the sick. Wellness. So that's why we have this wellness program for ourselves as well as for the patients, because the whole idea is to live a healthy life, not just to live longer but to be healthy. You could have a short life and it's healthy and you're doing well, and that's good, but to have a long life and you're sick, it's not what the human experience was meant to be, right? That's so we're trying to change that.
And we never know when we're going to go.
Exactly, so you have to live your best life today.
That's right. That's right. In the moment. In the moment. No, March is Women's Month. Talk to us a little bit about the doctor's appointments that everyone should schedule to keep on top of health issues, including some of those testing that you have.
So we'd want you to get a gynecological visit at least every year, right? So for the menopausal woman, you have to do your mammogram and your colonoscopy. We should really offer you the mammogram between 40 to 44, right? But really and truly, it's after 45 you do your mammogram, and then when you reach 55, you do it every 2 years, right? So you'd need to do your mammogram, you need to do your colonoscopy. All these screens are cancer screens. Colonoscopy is for GI cancers. Right, so it's one of the best screens because if you have polyps, which leads to cancer, we can go in and remove them. So your mammogram, your colonoscopy, you do your pap smear. Your pap smear is screening for cervical cancer. In addition to your pap smear, you do your HPV at the same time. Your HPV is a human papillomavirus. One step with the pap smear. And the human papillomavirus, as we know, that's what causes cervical cancer. So cervical cancer is actually a preventable cancer, because if you don't have the HPV, we can actually give you the vaccine, which we offer at Royal Medical.
Okay.
Right. And if you're HPV free, you don't have to do your pap smears every year. You can do it every 3 to 5 years. So that helps with the screening. So we have mammogram, colonoscopy, pap smears, of course your physical examination. You need to do a pelvic ultrasound, because the pelvic ultrasound is going to allow us to look at your ovaries. It's going to allow us to look at your womb. Because for endometrial cancer, apart from persons who are menopausal and bleed after the menopause, which is a big sign that you need to be screened, there may be no signs if you have polyps, right? And for ovarian cancer, we have the blood screen for it. It's one of the harder ones to pick up anything. But if you have a cyst and it looks abnormal, we can pick it up on the pelvic ultrasound. So you're going to do that mammogram, colonoscopy, do your pap smear, HPV, and you're going to do your pelvic ultrasound, get examined by your doctor. Do your blood works, right? So basic blood works, you come in as a menopausal woman, is your blood count, Your blood count is a big marker. Because if you're anemic, we have to find out why you're anemic. It can be a sign that you may have some malignancy somewhere. Right, we do your kidney function, your liver function, of course, we do your hormones. Big on the hormones is vitamin D and thyroid.
That's right.
Right, so a lot of persons we've picked up, I don't know if Mr. Dance can attest to it, right? The vitamin D levels are low.
Yeah, sorry. One of the things that we notice is that a lot of people have low vitamin D. Like 70 to 80% of those that we do test. Whatever the reason is, it's still kind of unknown, because one thing I always say, we live here in the Caribbean where vitamin D do come from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so the position we're in with the low vitamin D, we're still trying to find out. One of the good thing though is that at Royal we also have the supplements. We have vitamin D supplements. For those that I know, most people leave the house, go into your car, go to work, leave from work into the car.
AC society.
So you never get any of that sunlight.
You never get the amount of sun that you need. So just in case you need supplements, we also have the supplement. I think we have 10. We have enough there.
Okay.
And I see where people, just like myself, who had low vitamin D, a matter of fact, went almost to the upper level.
Okay.
So the supplements do work.
Testimony.
Yeah, it do work.
Okay. While we're on vitamin D, is it dangerous to have your vitamin D at a high level?
Well, for the vitamin
is there a
D,
danger zone at all?
Right. So what happens is that we have levels, right? So we don't want it to be at the upper limit of the level. If you have too much vitamin D, it can put you at risk of stone formation, because the vitamin D work in adjunct with calcium. So we don't just replace your vitamin D, we also replace it with calcium, magnesium and zinc, because those minerals help you to metabolize the vitamin D properly. So yes, there is a range. So that's why after we've given you the vitamin D, we check your levels. Right, and we also, there are certain symptoms if you're getting really drowsy and if you have any renal change, so we assess you for that. So don't just go and supplement yourself, we do it with advice. Even if you come to Royal, we advise you as well, and it's based on your levels. But as Kirk was saying, as to the reason why vitamin D is low, why I mentioned it for persons in the menopause, that as we get older, our skin won't metabolize it as much. No matter how much sun it's just not working as much. So that's why older persons are more at risk in general for vitamin D, right? In vitamin D deficiency.
Okay. Look like we're almost out of time. Before we do, I know.
So
I
much
can't
more
believe
to
it.
say.
I know.
But pointer for menopause, please remember though, if you're bleeding after the menopause, to have it assessed, because endometrial cancer is one of those things that are easy to pick up, and it's also easier to treat the earlier you pick it up. All right.
Okay. Now, let's get your location before I forget.
Yes,
and some contact details, please.
Okay, so as I said before, Royal Medical is located at Bayton Plaza, opposite the wharf, right on Westby Road. If you know where Kentucky is on Westby Road, that's the same plaza with, Bayton Plaza. Well, for those who are older, on Island is the old Marine building. Right.
Yeah, right. That's right. And telephone numbers?
It's 769-6230, or, WhatsApp is 922-2119. And WhatsApp or 922-2119, that's my cell number. Call me anytime, WhatsApp me anytime, and I will be at your service.
And just say, is this Kirk?
Yep.
And you have your website?
Is royalmedical.ky.
Okay, and you're on Facebook, Instagram?
Instagram, yeah, all of the
social media
relevant social media.
Okay. All right, thank you. Now, I know you had, first of all, I have to say thank you for your proud and kind sponsorship of RC Fusion, Monday to Saturday. It's sponsored by Royal. And you had a beach cleanup on, was it Saturday? Oh, yes, Sunday. Sunday. How was that?
Okay, so first I have to thank all the people who came out. We had record amount of people. We had like 100 and something people that came out. We had 2 truckloads of garbage that we did clean up. Kind of surprising. I never thought so much dump would be on the beach, but yes, we did clean it up.
And this was Barker's?
That's Barker's Beach, okay. Yeah. And after I saw what the success was, we kind of the steps that we want to probably make this into an annual event.
Very good.
So we're putting
Very
that
good.
together. Also, we have some gifts that we want to give, so we'll be sending people emails as to who.
Those
we have
who
some
are on the
prizes.
cleanup.
Yeah,
Help
who
the
was at the
cleanup.
crime, the cleanup. Thanks again to all who came out. It was windy, gusty, kind of cold. But
cold, come on.
It
How
was.
cold?
It was cold. And special thanks to the weight loss persons who showed up as well. That was great. Really appreciated it.
Yeah, and I do have to mention Plastic Free Cayman. They were there with the table tennis club. I think those were the main group of people that were there.
And Echo.
We look
and Echo, yeah.
Okay, we look forward to another one of those, and maybe you'll get lots more people to come out and help. And
yes,
I know you have so much more to talk about, but
So
we're
much more.
out of time.
Oh, no.
There's going to be a part 2.
Part 2. Andropause. Next time I'll talk about andropause.
Andropause. Is that for men?
That's for men, and men are being
We
sidelined.
should have covered that first,
Oh,
I'm just
yeah.
kidding. Go ahead.
Just one thing. We're trying to instigate Zumba into our wellness program. We do Zumba Friday 7:30 to 9 and Sunday 4 to 6. And now it is being held in front of the clinic. So anybody that is interested can just give us a call.
And it's free. Absolutely free.
And it's free.
On that note, I want to say thank you so much, Dr. Tanika Grant-Davis, OBGYN, and Mr. Kirk Donald, RMT, Director of Royal Medical and Wellness Center. Thank you so much. I want to thank our previous segment, first segment, for Rotary Central this morning, President Carleen Goodman Hoptroff, past President Peter Smith, Mr. Carl Brown, Public Image Director. Thank you so much. And, of course, all our listeners this morning, YouTube viewers, and our producer of The Buzz, Ms. Susan Watson. Our sponsors, Cayman Insurance Center, Cayman Medical Supplies. Thank you. Until Thursday, March 31st, when we bring you another Business Buzz. Please stay safe. Have a wonderful day. And from me, your host, Anita Khan, goodbye.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies. Call them at 949-6211. Optical Outlook, now at their new location in Anderson Square. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook. And Cayman Insurance Center, celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services.
Radio Cayman, the voice, the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.